Hi guys, this message is for my H2 students. So right now that's just Saquon and Sarah. So I wanted to go ahead and give you the next three assignments. I noticed that there had been some work turned in from one of you, and so I had kind of held off on assigning the next few assignments until I heard from you. So I think we're ready now to go on with the next three, okay? So you're going to be working on 6-8, 6-9, and 6-10. And remember, we're in Romeo and Juliet. And so 6.8 picks up with Act 2. And Act 2 is all about dichotomies. That's a word that you're going to learn in this lesson if you didn't already know it. But dichotomies means differences or opposing forces. So what you've probably noticed so far in this play is that for every positive thing that happens, there's something negative going on, either in the background, behind the scenes. So there's a lot of conflict or opposing forces. Now, in this lesson, you're not actually going to submit anything to the Dropbox, okay? But you are going to review Act 1. So there's a little short review of Act 1. You're going to go through that, okay? And then there is a dichotomy worksheet right here that won't open. At least it won't open for me. Maybe it will open for you. I've let the support center know that I can't get it open. But at any rate, you don't need it because we're not submitting anything to the Dropbox, okay? Now, if it will open for you, go ahead and fill it out in your notes and keep up with it because it will help you on the unit test, okay? But you don't need it as far as Dropbox goes, okay? Now, you're ready to read Act 2. You can read it. You can listen to it. And then there is a review game that will help you. So you'll be able to use some flashcards to review some concepts that you've learned in Act 2, Scene 1. And then you notice there is a Dropbox assignment here, but I'm not requiring it, okay? So you do not have to do the Dropbox assignment. It's a good assignment, but it doesn't really do anything to help us with our knowledge of what's going on in the actual act. It's more about interpreting paintings versus videos. So we're just going to skip this Dropbox assignment, okay? So that brings us then to lesson 6.9. And we scroll down and see that lesson 6.9, we're in Act 3, okay? So this is actually the climax or the greatest tension, greatest moment of chaos that happens in the play is in Act 3. So we're also going to study plot development up to this point by using something called Freytag's pyramid. You may have seen this plot diagram before. You can apply it to any story that you read, okay? Each part of the pyramid represents a different part of the story. And so far in our study of Romeo and Juliet, we've looked at exposition in Act 1. We've looked at rising action in Act 2. And now we're looking at the climax in Act 3. So don't worry if those terms aren't familiar to you. This lesson is going to teach you all about them, okay? At the end of the lesson, you are going to complete this pyramid, this Freytag pyramid chart. You're going to fill in something from Act 1 for the exposition. You're going to give a description of it. Then you're going to get text evidence from the story, actual lines from the play that support what you are describing here, okay? Act 2 is where your rising action will come from. And then Act 3 is where your climax will come from, okay? So when you finish that, you're going to submit that to the Dropbox. Make sure you work through every part of the lesson, though, because it's going to explain to you exactly how to fill in that chart, okay? And then we come to Lesson 610, which is Act 4, and this is all about irony. Now, irony is what makes those plot twists and turns exciting in stories and movies. It's when the opposite of what you would expect to happen happens, okay? Now, there's different kinds of irony, and this lesson goes through all of the different kinds of irony. So make sure that you take notes on the different kinds. But when you come to the Dropbox assignment, we are only focusing on situational irony, okay? So pay extra close attention to that as you work through the lesson. Now, just like the other lesson, there is a sheet embedded in here that would not open. There's some glitch causing it to open. Again, I've let the support center know, but you don't need that sheet to submit what you're going to submit to the Dropbox, okay? This is actually what you're going to submit to the Dropbox. You're going to tell where in Act 4 the irony occurs. You're going to describe the situational irony and then tell what effect the situational irony had. So, for example, they were expecting this to happen, but this happened instead. Okay. So you're looking for 3 examples. Now, at the bottom, it says you are to write 2 paragraphs explaining the situational irony and the effect that it had. You only have to write 1 paragraph, okay? 1 paragraph, and you only have to do 1 example, okay? So in other words, you're choosing any one of these 3 that you list for me, and you're writing a paragraph explaining the effect that that irony has on the story, okay? And then you are submitting that to the Dropbox. So that is all you have to do this week. I'm just assigning 3 things because I know we've got fall break either this week or next, probably coming up at your school. So we're just going to take it nice and slow this week. And if you have any questions or concerns, reach out to me and let me help you, okay? I look forward to talking to you soon.